Hello, everyone. Very good evening. Today, we are back once again with an interesting topic with the IndiaSpark Live Talk Show through the Airmate platform. And this is Rupa Tanti, the founder of IndiaSpark. IndiaSpark is a platform connecting the job seekers with the industry leaders across different domains to develop and empower the workforce ecosystem in India. And today there are two major announcements, one from the eminent speaker side and from one from the IndiaSpark side. So before moving on to that, what I would like to say is today's topic would be revolving around future of jobs in emerging technologies. So for that, we have the eminent speaker for this session, Mr. Biplab Paul, who is a regional marketing manager of Alibaba Cloud India. We welcome you onto the board, Biplab.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Very glad to be part of this forum. And this is a very interesting forum because we have students from across the country. And we have recently started an interesting partnership with IndiaSpark, where we are looking at, how to engage with colleges and student audience. And we are looking forward to having our partnership in to the next level. We are looking forward to take it to the next level where we can engage with even colleges and even at the end to the students, all the students who are here. So I think this is a very interesting platform for all of you to learn, to grow, and even share knowledge about what you are doing. Our goal for the Indian continent will be to, probably educate some 10,000 students and reaching out to some hundreds of colleges. So this platform is probably the stepping stone for us because I'm getting the opportunity to interact with all the students here and even some faculties probably.
So let me give an introduction about Biplab. So Biplab has a diverse experience from being a technologist to a marketing and a business leader for different size and scale of organizations, making others understand, the true potential of technology and his passion, and he enjoys challenging himself with the complex, not one, complex business situations. He is an expert in IT operations and have a deep understanding of a project management. In the past, he also worked with Microsoft for the close to 10 years, heading the Microsoft community engagements for the Southeast Asia. Yeah, Biplab, over to you.
Thank you, Rupa. Thanks for the introduction. Probably I'll just give you guys a little more because I know that when it comes to the engaging with the other professionals, you might have some interesting questions or some thoughts around like how the person can reach up to wherever they are. So maybe I'll just give you a little background of my exposure to the IT industry and what I have been doing in last 15 years. As a professional, I started back in 2002. And I worked in different capacities. I started as a faculty, then Microsoft hired me, so I started working as an account manager. Then I worked for a couple of years as a technology consultant. So I was primarily working on SQL Server, which is one of the database solutions of Microsoft. And then back in 2010, I moved to the marketing position at Microsoft. And in that, I was primarily looking at the South Asia region, which is not just India, but the entire SAARC countries. And I was taking care of the community and MVPs, and my responsibility used to fall or cut across different verticals, different audience segment. And working for Microsoft was like a bliss. It was amazing experience. Worked with them actually close to around 11 years. I worked with Microsoft, and then I thought like, okay, it's a good time to experience something different. Because what happens is this is again more of a life learning lessons and all. So what happens is when you are part of a product company, the learnings or the way how things move are different than how things happen in services company. Now you will say, what is a services company? Services company who are like, the Infosys or Wipros or HCLs and all, who take the products which these product companies are building and deploying that to different customers scenarios. So I thought, look, okay, let me try some services experience, and I joined another company called CSS Corp. That's in India. That's headquartered in Chennai, and I worked with them for a very short while, and had an opportunity to learn their a way of working. I was working as an associate director for marketing, because Alibaba Cloud is again more product centric services company, because cloud companies are services companies, but they are focusing on product. So I moved to that position, and currently I'm in the same position. Alibaba Cloud, or Alibaba in general, is here. We believe in a lean task force, so we don't have like hundreds of people in India. Overall, in the globe, I think we have around 50,000 people for cloud computing itself. And altogether, we all own multiple responsibilities. So for India, I take care of multiple roles. So I'm a head of online business in India. I take care of the digital marketing also, and apart from that, as I mentioned, as I started at the beginning, so I also take care of the academic relations for Alibaba Cloud in India. So that's how my partnership with IndiaSpark comes in, where we are looking at how we can deepen our footprint and engagement with the academic institutions, and making sure that all of you know and understand the cloud computing or the emerging technologies in depth, and have an option to try it yourself, so that you don't have any hesitation when you go for an interview or when you go for the actual work. What happens is, generally when you start working, when you become a professional, join a company, you have to spend maybe 6 months to 1 year to learn the new technology. What if we can give you those learning those technology hands-on experience at the beginning? So that's something which we are trying to do with IndiaSpark. Most of us are like shopaholics nowadays. We love to shop, and those who love to shop, they know that there are shopping websites, be it like the ones which we have for our country, or the global ones, or even something which can help you get your stuff from different places. So Alibaba.com or Taobao or Tmall, these are some of the platforms which exactly Jack Ma has uh, you know thought of, like what we can do to make e-commerce a lot more accessible. Jack Ma's vision was back in 1999 or 98. Then what happened? He thought like, okay, people are doing business, or trying to access e-commerce, but they are having a lot of issues making payment. So if they have to do the cash transaction, it is not always feasible. So what if we create something different? So he created Alipay. Alipay is like Paytm. It's a wallet. So that's how the digital economy of Alibaba Cloud came in picture. And then there are set of other products, or set of other platforms which came up in terms of offering or catering to different set of audience. Do you think this is cloud computing? Well, when you are flying, you may have some computers on the cloud, or cloud is just nothing else but someone else's computer. I think this is very humorous. I really find it really funny that the way how people explain cloud computing, because the term cloud itself is so, it became like a jargon. People talk about cloud computing everywhere. Honestly, all of us, even if we are not using anything else, we are using cloud. How we are using cloud, like if you are using some sort of a phone, you are clicking pictures, you are making sure that your picture goes and stays either in one of the cloud storage, be it Google Cloud, or maybe OneDrive, or maybe your Xiaomi storage, or wherever. So there are some of the other formats of cloud which we are using. Even if you are streaming, live streaming, right? So with videos, nowadays the lockdown is going on, so pretty much there is no program on the TV. So we may be streaming some movies, some the on demand shows and all. So they are also stored on cloud, because you cannot actually store them on a hard drive and stream whenever there is a user requirement, because if you start storing them on a hard drive, the access will be very slow for them. So that's the reason cloud comes in. And then cloud comes in also because the moment you have a requirement, your hardware can automatically stretch. So you don't have to buy a very high-end hardware at the very beginning. You can by default go for an elastic computing platform or services, and based on your requirement, your resources will be kept on added, and you will still have access, or you will still be able to cater to thousands of users. So that's in general the concept of cloud computing. Now I'll move ahead, and there here in this slide, which is primarily talking about the cloud technologies, how they are fueling the transformation. Cloud computing is the future, and how the cloud computing is supporting overall Alibaba cloud ecosystem. As I mentioned, this is Alibaba cloud ecosystem, right? And there are more and more companies which are coming in. So even today, when you are using Paytm in country which has around 1 billion customer base, they are using the backend is being used as Alibaba cloud. So how the cloud computing is working in the backend, this is how the entire thing is working. So if you see that entire Alibaba ecosystem is hosted on cloud computing or on Alibaba cloud. November 11th is the single day every year. It's been close to around 6-7 years. We have been celebrating Double 11, where we create a special campaign. We offer special, heavily discounted, products and gifts for everyone. Initially, it was primarily for the singles, but now people use it as a shopping festival. So it's a shopping festival which happens on November 11th, where people can buy products and gifts, goodies, giveaways, whatever they want to buy at that time. And products are dirt cheap. And generally this year, I'm talking about 2019, the Double 11. I was there in China, and within 10 minutes we crossed the 1 billion transactions, or 1 billion billing value or invoicing. So that means you can imagine how much transaction would have happened within 10 minutes. So you can imagine that how much stress will your servers be having. I'm sure all of you are using some or the other way your college infrastructure. What happens when there are 100 people log into the same server? Your server performance reduces. So what the cloud can do in that situation is it can stretch, it can give you additional resources as and when you need. And that's what Double 11 Festival does. So we leverage the cloud platform in the backend, and we give you the seamless experience as an end user. So that's what the backend of cloud platform enables for everything. I'm not just talking about Alibaba cloud. I'm not just talking about Alibaba as an ecosystem, but everywhere, wherever the cloud is being utilized, the major reason for cloud computing or adoption is primarily the elastic requirements or elasticity of your workloads.
Thanks, Biplab. It's actually an interesting thing that most of them now come to know what is Alibaba Cloud all about and the cloud computing. So let's go ahead, Biplab, on this. So you had a very vast experience, in the Microsoft professional experience, in the campus ambassador programs or the student engagements and all. So it's been like 10 years. Now, how was your journey with Alibaba Cloud?
For sure, what I realized is that my Chinese colleagues, looking at them, I have a very good rapport with pretty much all of my colleagues back in China. And what I can say is that most of these guys are really, really hardworking. I'm not saying that hardworking is the only mantra. I'm saying that smart working is the mantra. And we all should be looking at how we can work smartly and making sure that our efforts are visible, and we keep learning. So all of you guys who are there on the call, don't stick yourself to one organization, one culture, one platform. You should always look for gaining new experience. More you gain experience, you'll be more valuable. So that's what I can say.
Yeah, moving ahead, Rishabh, because there is right now a pandemic, COVID-19 times, right? So what was the huge impact of the technology space? Because there's a lot of extended lockdown, phase 1, lockdown 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now we are on 5. So yet to come, depending on the situation of the rate of infection, how we could see the scenario or impact on the technology space.
In your house, you need to have a proper internet connection. You need to have a proper PC, laptop, and maybe if you are used to having a bigger monitor and all, you should keep these things ready. But in general, the way how IT infrastructure is moving or transforming is having these remote meetings, or the remote check-ins, that whether workers are working. Because what happens is, still in India, this is one of the common logic, is that when you are working from home, people don't trust that are you really working, or are you enjoying. So to address those situations also, IT is playing very important role. It is giving you some additional options, that you can check in when you started working, and you check out when you finished working. So those things will enable, and it's a constant learning. Again, it's an evolution, so we have to learn, we have to make sure that we take necessary action. But yeah, till now, what I see is that overall this COVID situation has made us learn a lot and transform real quickly. And many of our startups and bigger organizations today have taken a lot of corrective measures during this phase. So this is a good step. Yeah, the good effect of a bad evil. So, but we I'm really hopeful that in a longer run, this will give us a very good learning, and maybe take us to the next level. I think the best approach will be that at the end of the day, when you sleep, when you go to your bed, I don't know what time you go to bed, but generally I go to bed at around 12:30. So I tend to think before sleeping, is that what did I learn, or what did I do something differently? And that's very important, because you need to have a new learning, or something different what you did on that day, in your list, in your tick mark, that did I do something different. You did not do something different, you pretty much wasted your entire day. This is an area which is the future for all of us. Why? The question should be asked. I'll give you some scenarios, right? So today, what happens is, and many of you would have read in the newspapers, or what watched it on the news channels. Nowadays, it's very frequent. At least before the lockdown, it used to be very frequent. There used to be frequent, news around. There is a green corridor which has been created, and some live, limbs were transplanted or transferred from one place to another place, one hospital to another hospital, or one city to another, city. This is a very common scenario. But do you know that how AI can support this? Today what happens is that our police guys will go there and block the road, and making sure that people, these ambulance can transfer, or shift easily. But that's not a very scalable solution. We need to think of scalability. We need to think of how the technology, how the solutions, whatever we are working on, can help us in a countries like this, like India, like China, like US, where we have much higher, dense population. If you see today the news, the COVID hospitals, they are talking about having robots. They are sending robots to attend the patients. What's that? That's primarily an AI based and machine learning based solutions. So these will certainly change the way how we think, how we live, how we react today. Certainly there is a lot more potential, lot more possibility. And again, we have to look up to our next generation, the young generation who are listening to us, to probably do something in terms of addressing the common problems. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't recreate another robot. Maybe do something which is addressing a bigger challenge. That's important for you. So for engineering students, again, engineering students, the computer science, and the software related curriculums. So in that situation, we do have a set of courses and set of programs available for students. And you can just visit our website. They can just spend like 1 hour and go through the entire course, and then complete a quiz, and then finish the certification and get a certificate on their hand. Interestingly, for students, most of these certifications are free. So if you are a student, you should for sure leverage these opportunities, learn something new, and add something on your resume. I think that's a recommendation which I have for you guys. Yeah, it's actually, it's a the if I have to talk about the sector which has badly affected by this lockdown, is the probably unmanaged sector. Unmanaged sector is really badly hit, and we have seen some sad stories about people walking and going to their villages and all. That's pretty much the unmanaged sector. But talking about the the managed sectors, or the the professionals who are there today. For you guys, I think for ourselves, for us, the only mantra is that if I, even if there is a lockdown, even if I don't have a job right now, it will come back, because right now it's a global impact. The virus has impacted across the countries. The agility is again a very basic of everything. So even if there is a job cut, as I mentioned, it's going to happen primarily in all sectors, but the biggest visible or impacted area will be the unmanaged sector. But for rest of us, I think the agility, making sure that we learn more, making sure that we are willing to take a big challenge is very critical. As long as you take a big challenge, you are trying to address a big problem, you will not be stopped anywhere. For the students, I think I mentioned that there is a student program which we have as part of AEP program, where what we do is we give one cloud server free to every student, and 10 courses, each course worth around $10. So that's around $1,000 worth of courses, which is free for every student. And this is valid for 1 year, so they can actually complete these courses as per their availability and use the cloud platform for their personal development and testing and all. In general, if you have to talk about the growth, if you want to increase your visibility about technology, I would say big data, I would say AI, the machine learning. These are the areas which are playing very important role. These basic things we need to know. Again, not saying that you all need to be expert, but learn, be expert on one or the other area, so that you have some more doors open for your professional world. I would say it is expected. It is expected mainly in these services companies. Product companies may not see so much layoffs, but services will be there unless we are ready for the new technologies. These solutions have also evolved in last 6 months, and many of these solutions are addressing lot more critical challenges than what you had been seeing or what we were used to 6 months back. So these platforms will continue, and we have seen how they are impacting the overall ecosystem positively. So we will certainly, at least we are expecting that these solutions will continue in a much longer way. In our country, the biggest gap is what has been taught in our academic platforms or academic institutions in our courses to what industry needs. The focus for Alibaba Cloud is for sure. That's the reason I'm here. That's the reason my team members in India are here, is primarily to address these gaps wherever the industry and the workhorse, there is a difference in terms of their skill set. We are trying to bridge that. So we are offering many training resources, many workshops, many meetups. Whenever things become normal, we will have events also, primarily to address these gaps, to make sure that students and faculties are all up and ready for the new technology and not just limit themselves to the older bookish knowledge. So talking about startups, honestly, if you think of India as a startup hub, for sure, India used to be a startup hub, and it is still a startup hub. But maybe we need to see how the startup organizations are, evolving, and how differently they are thinking. Because if you look at some of these startups, like even if, I would call the bigger ones also startups, like Big Basket or Swiggy and all, right? So if you talk about Swiggy, one quick agility which they have showcased during this lockdown is how do they make sure that they can offer the home delivery of groceries and other things. So similarly, the how agile is this startup is a lot more important to see the future of startup industry, or the possibilities in the country. The diversity part had been a question of the past, I believe. This is my personal views, this is nothing to do with the company, but my approach or my understanding is that nowadays most of the organizations are recruiting based on the skill set rather than the person, the gender of the person, right? Yeah, there are in the pockets, there are otherwise stories also, but most of the prominent organization, they are primarily looking at the skills. Today in the industry, my understanding says that we have a decent balance of skill set, not
Hmm.
the gender. So there are many of my friends who are uh, female friends, and they are exceptionally good in technology, they are exceptionally good in analytics or big data kind of solutions. And then there are good number of female friends who are also in the sales and marketing kind of positions. So diversity, we should not restrict ourselves, or should not talk about this as a jargon, but we should talk about how to improvise our skill set so that we are fit for everywhere. When it comes to technology awareness, I think I kind of touched upon that earlier also, that all of us need to be informed about the technology. So you need to have a basic understanding of every technology, or at least the technologies which are overlapping on your forte or your area. So even if you are a management student, you need to have a basic understanding of AI, you need to have a basic understanding of big data, you need to have a basic understanding of cloud computing, and then maybe a little deeper understanding of DevOps. I'm saying that, have a basic understanding so that when people talk about these, nobody can fool you. I think that's more important. And as I mentioned, the industry is heading towards a little transformation where people will be actually managing multiple roles, or taking care of multiple responsibilities. So who knows that tomorrow you will still, being a management student, you might still do something which has a little overlap of technology. You might need to manage a technology team, so you need to have a basic understanding. So when you have time, get familiarized with that. And for technology students, for sure, there is an ocean. More you go deeper, you will have more to learn. So do it, get hands dirty. Being a student, whenever you hit the industry, you'll be fresher, you'll be treated as a fresher, so you might have to showcase your skill set, not just by showcasing what did you do in your academics, but also you have to showcase that how ready are you for the latest and greatest technology platform. So showcase your skill set by showcasing some of these certifications, or maybe some workshops which you have done on emerging technologies. That's very important. So attend some of these workshops. That's what I can say. We all have to continuously learn, and
Hmm.
continuous learning is one of the basic thing which we have to accept. You need to challenge also yourself. You cannot just say that, okay, I don't understand this, so I will just live with it because I don't want to learn because someone else will do it. Have a little confidence, or actually have a confidence in yourself. If you know the technology, showcase that in your confidence, showcase that in your work. That's important. And lastly, one basic message is, nothing is small. Everything what we do has an impact. So take it positively. Make sure that you don't diminish, or you don't take something very lightly, that that's very small, why should I spend time in that. Every damn thing which we do today has a learning, has an experience. Even I'm interacting with you, I agreed for this interaction when Rupa invited me, was primarily because I wanted to learn from you guys. So that's important. Take up smaller challenges, challenge yourself, have a confidence, and keep learning. That's my message to all of you. In general, think of it like, maybe are working from home. What is the time frame within which you are taking up the approvals, or maybe signing up, or check in the day and check out in the evening. Those are the things which you can evaluate with the IoT solutions. Inputting data through the IoT device and can be captured on cloud and can be analyzed, and based on that, human resource professionals can estimate and can provide the outcomes. So that's doable. But what you want to do is something which you have to come up with. I think this has a lot to do by the government and the college authorities, and unfortunately, the organizations are not capable enough to push that themselves. But there is a lot coming from government. Honestly, what we have seen in last 5-6 years is that government is also much digital savvy, and our prime minister also understands how the technology solutions are playing very important role, and he is himself is like always working on social media and other platforms. So for sure, what we expect is that in near future the colleges might see a transition from the older curriculum to the newer technologies. In general, if you have to talk about how Alibaba Cloud is different from others, I would say that again, Alibaba as a group of companies, we follow one basic value. It's our company value is the agility. How quickly we learn. Okay, so I think the way how you should be looking at is that these courses are not for. Why do you want to limit yourself to one company? I think that's the basic question which I will ask anyone. So the courses, learning of these courses does not restrict you or does not say that okay, you are going to get only the job in Alibaba Cloud today. No, they won't don't worry. I think the biggest worry today for many of us is that okay, what happens if artificial intelligence is going to do abcd? My job which I used to do for abcd will go away, but if the abcd goes away, there is a new efgh also will open. So that's how we should see it. So right now there are many areas where there are no people. What if we can place our people on those areas? We can create new industries where we can have new job opportunities which may not be addressed by artificial intelligence. But what I'm offering in this session is, I'm sure you would have heard of the associate, or rather the professional level certification. Pretty much all the big organizations do have their own products. So similarly, like for Microsoft, they have a cloud specific certification. Amazon has their own cloud specific certification. We have our own cloud specific certification. These are professional certifications. These are as similar to as you go to a Prometric or Pearson VUE center and writing that exam. So it's that deeper, and this has full valuation in the industry. So if you are going as an ACA, Alibaba Cloud Associate on cloud computing, people assume that everything about cloud computing, the basics of cloud computing. So what we are doing is we are offering a $200 worth of Alibaba Cloud Associate Cloud Computing certification training and exam free for you guys. You need to register for this certification exam, and if you are registering, you need to also commit that you will focus and complete the training without any deviations, or without any changes in mind and all. So what we are expecting is that you need to have a proper phone, smartphone having Zoom installed, so that you can keep it in such a way that we can monitor if you are writing that exam. You can sit at home and finish the exam and get certified. And with that certification, as I mentioned, this is going to add a lot of value to your resume. So you will be accredited, you will be getting the same value as any cloud professional who had been working in cloud for close to around 2 to 3 years. So you will have similar knowledge or similar experience. So this is a pure cloud computing. So this is going to cover pretty much I think I covered that on the slide also. So this is all about Alibaba Cloud's core products from computing, storage, networking, and security. So it's going to cover everything. We have a separate exam for big data. We have a separate exam for cloud security. So this is generic cloud computing. So after finishing this certification, you will be considered like you have done basic 101 of cloud computing. In general, this is like a full day training, or we can split that training in 2 days depending upon our trainers availability, followed by the certification, which is actually a 90 minutes certification.
So thank you everyone for your valuable time and active participation. We look forward to see you at our next session. Until then, goodbye. Have a great weekend. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you once again, Biplab. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Rupa.
Thank you.